Okay, good afternoon. I'm very excited to be here with you, and I'm thanking you for being here on a Saturday in a beautiful city and enjoying being with us to talk about FRP. This is like Dr. O'Keefe indicated, this is part of our symposium, number 16 on FRP, probably the longest running symposium series in the area of FRP, and we're very glad to be with you. What we did today in this particular session is a little bit different. Is we wanted to bring experts from the world to talk about what is the status, what is the state of art of knowledge on codes and specifications. And maybe we can all learn from each other, and we can maybe see what similarities we have right now and what differences occur. So speaking to the audience, to the global audience, I wanted to let you know on a little secret that we have in the United States. It might be different than in other countries. If you are interested in designing a building or you're interested in designing a bridge, there are different codes and different specifications. So you need to be aware of that. In the case of building code, we have the International Code Council who produces a set of building codes. And those safety codes are adopted by all the different states and jurisdictions. So as of 2024, the ICC, the International Code Council, regulates the safety codes in the US. And where is FRP in there? Well, FRP is not there, but the ACI code requirements can be referenced by these codes. So as of 2024, we have the code for 40.11 that talks about requirements for structural concrete with GFRP reinforcement, internal reinforcement, being referenced by the International Building Code. And I'm putting a little bit of pictures in there so you can see that. And this IBC is part of the ICC. So that is how you find FRP. That's how the building official knows that if you are designing a particular building structure in a jurisdiction that is controlled by ICC, and you want to use GFRP, ICC and IBC allows you to use GFRP. And where do you go to design for that GFRP? You have to go and look at a document called Code for 40.11. On the bridge side, the owners of the bridge are the ones that define what is the specification that is used to design the bridge. So if I am a Florida Department of Transportation, I'm going to have two sets of documents that I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at what the Department of Transportation of Florida is defining as your design manual. And if that design manual has a special provision for FRP, then I probably need to look into that. But I'm also controlled by the federal government, because many times that bridge is funded by federal funds. And also the DOT, that the State Department of Transportation, will say we have to also follow federal rules. So in that case, I will need to go into what is the document that is helping me understand design at the federal level, and that would be a document that will be coming from AASHTO, which is the Association of all the State Highway and Transportation Officials. In this case, we have a document that has to do with AASHTO design, LRFD design. In this case, I put an example for GFRP reinforced concrete structure. So that's kind of where you have the different information. So what I'm going to be doing in the next 5 minutes, because I already spoke 5 minutes, is to kind of give you a little bit of a feeling for where is that information. And as we go into our panel discussion, I'm happy to expand a little bit more into that as we go in there. So first thing, a little plug into what is ACI 440, especially for our international members. I know you have seen ACI 440 documents out there in the world, but who is ACI 440? We're a technical committee. We're part of ACI. ACI has more than 130 plus technical committees, and our committee is one of them. And our purview is to look at how we disseminate information that deals with FRP reinforcement, both internal and external. So as you can see in there, we have many subcommittees. We are always looking for new members. We welcome new knowledge, new information. is an open work. If you come and join our subcommittees and you're interested in participating, we will welcome you with open arms. So please feel free to take the opportunity of being at this ACI convention to also come and sit down in our subcommittee meetings, both on Sunday afternoon and Monday during the day. And we have a Tuesday main committee meeting. Come and listen. And if you think that you have something valuable that we should hear about it or know about it, please come and join us. I'll be happy to introduce you to the subcommittee chairs or whoever is in charge of the task that might be interested in getting your information. So ACI 440 has been very, very, very successful and very active. We have up to today 21 published documents. And what I'm showing in here is just a sample of those. But you can see that we have developed and published code documents. We have developed and published guide specifications for materials, construction specifications. We also have tech notes. And as you can see in here, the gamut of the information that we present is not only for internal reinforcement, but for external strengthening and repair as well. So if you are working for a particular agency and you're working for a particular owner and you need that information, it could be that there's an ACI 440 document that can help you. And the important thing, again, that we're doing here in the US is to be able to find these really clear ways of sending information out there. Right now we have one good document that was, that we can use it as a code, but a lot of the Department of Transportations do use some of this information and they do reference those in their documents. So here we have a construction specification for GFRP bars. We have a material specification for CFRP bar. And again, all these documents are available on the ACI website. We have a recently published a guide for externally bonded FRP for strengthening. And I want to put a plug in this because as I've seen how these documents are used abroad, especially in South America, this document is one of the most widely used documents out there. And they are using it almost as a code document. So in our evolution, now we are going to be going into a code document that actually codifies all of this information so it can be adopted. But as of now, this document has been updated and it was just published last December. I want to talk a little bit about the code for 4011 that deals with internal reinforcement with GFRP bars. At the beginning of my presentation, I was talking to you about ICC, the International Code Council, and the IBC, International Building Code. This is a document that is very referenced by those two entities. So this document is in the same structure as the ACI 318 code requirements that many of you are familiar. ACI 318 deals with internal reinforcement with steel rebar. Now we have a document that follows the same format but deals with GFRP reinforcement. So it's organized in the same way. It's easy to follow. And again, it has been adopted by both IBC and ratified by ICC. So in any jurisdiction where you might be designing a building where ICC or IBC is being used, you could now be able to use and reference the code for 4011. A little bit of information. I know some of you might be asking these questions. What does that code cover? It covers beams, 1 and 2A slabs, columns, walls, foundations, joints and connection between members, and strength evaluation of existing structures. I know some of you are going to ask this question, so I'm giving it to you to the beginning right now. What is not there? Well, we got version 1.0, so what is not there is diaphragms, which we're definitely going to be included in the next edition, anchoring to concrete, earthquake-resistant structures, and strut and tie models. So these are areas that were not included in the first edition of this code that deals with GFRP reinforcement. It doesn't mean that we're not working on those topics at the 440 committee. If you have knowledge and information on any of these topics, please come, because we're right now working on developing the next version of the code. Things that were not covered in addition to those, like with concrete, is it relevant or not? Pre-stressed concrete, D-beams, like the strut and tie that we're talking about, shotcrete, again, seismic design, and members' instructions that require fire resistance, something very important. A little plug-in here on another code document that is being developed, not by the ACI 440 committee, but by a committee that was created specifically for this, but many of the members are from the ACI 440 committee, so we're cousins, very close cousins. And in this case, this document is going to be a code language. It's going to be referenced in the ICC. And this document is the strengthening of structural concrete with FRP systems. It draws into the 440.2R document that I mentioned earlier. And as you can see in here, this is the scope of the document and the audience. There is some chapters that show you how the different topics are being presented in here. And we're expecting to be able to have it ready and available for the public in summer 2024, so this year. So now you're going to have two documents that the licensed design professional is going to be able to reference in their design. One for internal reinforcement and one for external FRP bonded elements, systems. Moving into who else publishes technical documents that deal with FRP, well, we shouldn't forget STM publishes test material specifications and test methods, and there is a committee and a subcommittee that is especially devoted to that. And if you're interested in that work, if you want to know how that works, please come talk to me or my dear colleague Chop Akes, and we'll put you in touch with the right individual to contribute to this. And now I'm going to switch a little bit of time. Do I have 1 minute? And I'm just going to a little plug into AASHTO. So what is AASHTO? Well, if you want to design bridges, you're going to have to look at what AASHTO does. So AASHTO is the American Association for State Highway and Transportation Officials. It's a standard setting body. So it's different than ACI because they actually are a standard setting body. Their mission is to be able to develop a specification, test protocols, and guidelines that are going to be used in the highway design and construction in the United States. They have two committees that specialize on FRP design or FRP related documents. There is the committee concrete and the committee specialized structures. And here's the publications that they have right now. So if you're interested in bridges and you want to know where do I go, you should probably start with these documents to look at where the information is. Two things to highlight in there. They just published a guide specification for design of bonded FRP systems for repair and strengthening. And they are in the middle of reviewing a LRFD guide specification for the design of FRP pedestrian bridges. So I think this will be a good stop for me to kind of give you that information. And then I have additional slides on specifics of the different documents and what they're going to do in the future and what things they're going to change. But I think this will be a good point to stop, and then maybe have the next speaker come and tell us about that, their information.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.